Today we will recap an awesome movie, called World War III. Spoiler ahead. Watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, we see Shakib, who is singing what he saw earlier to his wife. He says he saw a dead mother dog. Its puppy was hungry and was drinking the mother's milk. We later see Shakib working in a grocery store. At night he can be seen washing clothes while a man tells him not to visit a place. Shakib tries to defend himself, but the man says sleeping with strangers is not good. The next day, Shakib tries to get labor work. He works hard to build a house and earns some money each day. After the work is almost done, he asks the manager if he can come back tomorrow. The manager asks where he lives and if he has a family. Shakib says he lives at a friend's store and his family died in an earthquake. The manager asks Shakib to stay at the place from now on and help with day-to-day stuff. One day, while cleaning the glass panels, some people approach the workers and tell them to change their clothes into prison uniforms. The workers are taken to a movie set. Without any preparation or advance information, the group is thrown into the film. They get uncomfortable and scared. Soon, the guy who is playing Hitler in this World War movie collapses. The film crew takes him to the hospital. At night, the ceiling leaks due to the rain. Shakib asks if he can sleep somewhere else. The next day he is also called for an audition. While standing among other workers, the film crew chooses Shakib to do a makeup test. Shakib is not interested but still goes anyway. Soon, he is turned into Hitler. They take a couple of pictures. Later, we see him on a video call with the same deaf wife who he was talking in the beginning. He signs and tells him this is for a movie while she makes fun of him. At night, the manager's assistant makes fun of Shakib for having that mustache. Shakib, without any further thought, decides to shave it off. The next day, managers couldn't understand why he shaved. During the shoot, Shakib struggles to act the way his crew is expecting. After the 10th take failure, the director requests to talk with Shakib alone. The director asks if he knows anything about Hitler, but he had no idea. The director asks him to close his eyes and explains the situation from Hitler's point of view. He talks about love and passion. The next take goes perfectly. Shakib can be seen again talking to his wife on a video call. The crew gives him a mansion to sleep in. One day, after shooting a scene, he calls his wife but she is crying. Worried, Shakib goes to her by bus and talks to her. He learns her employer is harassing her by trying to inject drugs into her. She asks if she can come back with Shakib. After some argument, he decides to take her back. Shakib knows the crew has already instructed him not to invite anyone. But still, he sneaks his wife inside the mansion. They both enjoy the house at night, but suddenly the manager's assistant arrives and she sneaks out of the room. Later, he tells her she can't stay here, but she suggests he shall tell his wife is back. Shakib can't do this because he already told the crew his family died in an earthquake. He also can't say he has remarried in just 3 days. Just then, 2 men come to see Shakib. They are looking for his wife but can't find her. They intimate Shakib but he manages to hide the truth. They leave telling him to contact them if he knows anything. Scared, Shakib enters the house and removes the wooden flooring. His wife can stay beneath the house safely without being noticed. Shakib says her employer suspects she is here and that she'll have to leave tonight. She tries to convince him but he doesn't listen. They sneak out in the night and purchase a single bus ticket. She is upset and has given up trying to convince. But Shakib changes his mind and takes her back with him. But unfortunately, as soon as they enter the house they get jumped by her employer. They start to push around Shakib while one of them holds down her. The employer starts beating Shakib. They try to take his wife but Shakib convinces them he will give them money for her freedom. They ask for 100 million rial. The employer gives Shakib 1 day to gather the money. The next morning, Shakib goes to tell the crew he is leaving the set because he needs to gather money for his dying mother. But the film production will go to a halt, so they give him 20 million rial. The manager is not happy that Shakib is using his importance on the set to get money, but he is helpless. Shakib, being happy with the million, goes to see his wife and says he will give this money to her employer and ask for more time. When he gets the rest they will run away. She is afraid this will work but they have to wait. After taking a shower at the gas chamber, Shakib's wife apologizes and says she lied about her employer trying to drug her. Shakib asks if she lied to stay inside the house. Taken by guilt, she says yes. But she confesses that she doesn't want any house and just wants to be with him. The couple later talks about having a baby and their experiences. Shakib says he is not sure if he can take care of one. The next day, before hiding her under the floor, Shakib gets ready to meet her employer. She asks Shakib if he can bring back some sweets. Shakib agrees and leaves to meet her employer. Unfortunately, the employer doesn't want to wait for the money. He gives Shakib only 3 days to bring the 80 million. Later, we see Shakib on the bus with some sweets. The bus breaks down but Shakib sees black smoke coming from the film set. In a while, the red house blows up. The film crew blew up the house for a scene. Horrified Shakib tries to call his wife multiple times but the phone keeps ringing. Shakib soon breaks into tears as he can't believe what is happening. Next day, while getting makeup, Shakib cuts his wrist with scissors. The crew quickly take him to a nearby clinic. They stitch him up and bring him back to the film set. The manager talks to Shakib and asks why he tried to commit suicide. Shakib says they have murdered someone when they blew up the house. The shocked manager tries to find the body with Shakib but because of the rain and night, they can't move any rumble. Shakib also confesses he gave the 20 million to her employer so she could stay safe. Slowly the manager starts to lose it because this can put him in a lot of trouble. The manager tells him they will look for her in the morning. In the meantime, they take him to a hotel. The manager asks for her employer's address so he can pay his debt and stop him from visiting the set. When they reach the film set, Shakib sees everyone is removing the rumble. He gets angry because he doubts the manager for hiding the incident. Soon, everyone arrives on the set, and things go sideways. The manager and Shakib fight and a riot erupts. Shakib manages to injure some people on the set. Someone hits him with a brick. One of the crew members wants to take Shakib to the clinic but the manager from the hotel calls her and tells her to bring him to the hotel because he has news about the girl. When they reach the hotel, the manager calls her employer who says Shakib's wife has returned to the house. The manager feels sorry for Shakib and says his wife used his acting career for money. But Shakib doesn't believe this and wants to really know where she is. The director on the other hand tells him to get back to filming. But Shakib denies it and says he is not working again. The director threatens him to work or he will get arrested for leaving the film and breaking his contract. The female assistant however stands up for Shakib and asks the director if he did something about the girl. She says they will pay her employer a visit to confirm her safety. The female assistant says if the girl is not there she will personally visit the police station. Shakib visits the employer but a nearby resident tells him they have moved out. Suddenly, a person arrives and tells Shakib to sit on his bike, he will take him to his wife. After a ride, they reach the employer who seems scared. The employer says the manager and the director threatened him and that he can't go back to his house. He tells Shakib to leave all this behind and move on. Shakib says he will visit the police station but just then the manager comes in with his contract and says he has done billions of damage to the set and he is breaking his contract. The manager threatens Shakib and tells him to come back and work. Shakib later visits his friend. The friend asks many questions about how Shakib got injured. Shakib steals something and gets back to the hotel. The female assistant asks if he actually says his wife. Shakib lies and says he did see her. Shakib gets in the makeup room and people right away start to work. They turn him into Hitler and start shooting a scene. After completing the scene, one of the extras asks if this bracelet is gold. He has the same bracelet that Shakib's wife had. Shakib takes the bracelet and goes out into the forest. He digs up a hole and buries the bracelet. Before going for the next scene, Shakib stares at some chefs making lunch for the film crew. He stands in the doorway without any sudden moves. Shakib again goes to shoot the gas chamber scene. The scene goes well and everyone including him acts well. After the scene, Shakib sits upset. Just then, his friend walks in angry and asks Shakib why did he steal the poison from his safe. In reality, Shakib didn't steal any money and instead stole some poison. The friend asks him to empty his pockets and snatches the bottle. But to his shock, he finds out the bottle is empty. The friend can't believe this because even a few drops of the poison could kill hundreds of people. A scared friend asks who Shakib poisoned. He asks if he killed anyone. Shakib breaks down and starts crying. He hugs his friend, but his friend tries to escape from the room. Shakib stops him by using his prop pistol to hit on his head multiple times. The friend falls down. Shakib slowly walks out as the snow starts to fall. He walks to the canteen where he sees chefs serving the crew. Everyone is sitting at the table and ready to eat. He quietly goes and sits on the chair. Some of them start to cough up. Suddenly a person falls down the chair and the screen goes black. We hear the people calling for help and here they are coughing up blood. The film ends on a dark note leaving us in shock.